Good evening. I want to thank the RSPO Secretariat for the invitation to be at this conference. Especially thanks to Darrell Weber, and I also want to thank him for coming to Colombia just a few weeks ago to attend our international conference. I think it was a good thing for him to be there and to promote RSPO in our region. Sometimes we feel RSPO is too far away from our part of the world. Today, I was asked to talk a little bit about the challenges on the oil palm development in Colombia. And I organized my talk in 4 points. I want to give you a small brief on the oil palm in Colombia, some actions that we have taken towards RSPO certification, some initiatives we have in Colombia for palm oil sustainability, and challenges that we have towards the RSPO in the country. As an overview of Colombia, I know for many of you that's too far away. Colombia is a country, a fairly large country, over 1 million square kilometers and over 46 million people, with a GNP of more than 7,000 US dollars, and a minimum legal labor cost of around 20 US dollars per day. This is, I wanted to point this out because for oil palm reality, there's a big difference to what you have in this part of the world. And that's something that we have to keep in mind when we're developing oil palm in Latin America, at least in some countries in Latin America. In Colombia, about 4.8 million hectares are being worked with agriculture today, although we have about 10 million hectares that could be incorporated as agriculture, taking land from, especially from cattle ranching and other less intensive uses. In the Colombian oil palm sector, we are reaching almost 500,000 hectares of oil palm. We've been losing some palms for some different diseases. That's maybe the reason we are not already with 500,000 hectares. We've had an annual growth of around 10% in the past decade, and our production is almost reaching 1 million tons. Of our market, especially the local market, since we started with the biodiesel program, now biodiesel is about 46% of our sales. The traditional market about 40%, and the rest for exports. Colombia is now the first producer in America and 4th in the world. In our oil palm sector, we mainly, our structure, it's identified by smallholders and medium-sized producers, and about 1 out of every 4 hectares in the past decade have been developing with the smallholders. We have a fairly strong institutional framework for the sector. Fede Palma just celebrated the 50th anniversary. We're a trade association, a non-profit, and a private organization, and we work in different areas to support the industry. Our main program is a research center, Ceni Palma, that's already been working for 2 decades, working in different areas. And our main areas where we are focusing are to overcome sanitary problems in the country. That's a big issue in Colombia and in some Latin American countries, to increase productivity, optimize sector revenue, identify risk and opportunities of the business, and working on the institutional strengthening, since we have so many smallholders. Some actions that we have taken towards RSPO certification. Fede Palma promoted this principle or the international national interpretation of the principle and criteria. It was approved in 2010. We have about 10 members already being members of RSPO. Fede Palma will join RSPO since 2004. And one company is already certified RSPO. 5 other companies are are working on that direction, and we hope to have them certified soon. And now we've been gaining some capabilities to support the RSPO certification in the country. A couple of years ago was the local capabilities were almost none. Some initiatives that we have been taking, mainly of those promoted by Fede Palma in the country to show good sustainable practices. We can mention one thing is a mapping of the Colombian landscape to see where, to give information where plantings could be developed. One important thing to mention in Colombia is most of the development has been done within the agricultural frontier. And that's something that when you're in this part of the world is difficult to understand, since we're not taking land from forest or other high conservation value uses. We have very marginal impact on natural forests, and as most of the land we're using come from cattle ranching, what we've been seeing is that the environmental impact is very good when you're moving into the oil palm plantations. We've been promoting also in the country the biodiesel program. Now we have a B10 blend for the whole country, and we are looking forward in moving up to B15 by 2015 and B20 by 2020. A life cycle analysis was recently done by a Swiss laboratory. This study was financed by the Inter-American Development Bank, and the results, especially because where we started with the business that is from grass land, from cattle ranching land, the reduction of greenhouse gas, they measured that at around 83%. These are some of the tables in that study that is available, publicly available. We also have an umbrella project for a CDM project for methane capture. We have 32 mills, especially small and medium-sized mills that are working in that direction. 2 mills already have the project in operation, and we have some other mills working to implement that soon. As we are moving in the energy cogeneration, this will increase the feasibility of this project. We also just got approved a GF project by the World Bank, and we'll be working on that for the next 5 years, putting a lot of attention on how to study some biodiversity conservation. Around 6 nucleus oil palm states will be working in the project for 70,000 hectares. And we feel this project is going to help us to do better planning and do better management practices in the near future. In the social area, we can mention that employment continues to be the big contribution of the oil palm sector in the rural areas. Some studies, they have shown that oil palm development has been helping more formal employment in the rural sector in Colombia, since informality is a big problem in general in the country. Wages in the oil palm sector are even higher than the minimum salary, or around 20%. And in general, the workers at the plantations, they enjoy better conditions that they have in other areas. here we have a comparison of the of wages in the oil palm sector in Colombia with other countries. No doubt this translates in better employment conditions, better sectoral revenue distribution. We have a better social impact, but no doubt it's a cost and economic disadvantage when you're promoting or developing this sector. We also have a very interesting experience in the sector that is with inclusive businesses. We've been promoting the smallholders, organized smallholders to be entrepreneurs. So far, about 1 out of 4 hectares been developed in the last decade with this model, and I think it's been very successfully, and many people in the country are looking for these type of businesses to be promoted in the future. We have some land litigation issues too. About 3.8% of the total area developed under oil palm has faced some type of land litigations. Some of them are already closed by the authorities. Some others are under investigation. What challenges do we have for the future? First of all, we feel that we need to do more identification and management of HCV areas. We feel we need a toolkit for Colombia, and we hope maybe the JEF project will be able to help us in that direction. We still need better planning and zoning tools for natural savannas. Many people feel there is no biodiversity there, but we need to be careful for the oil palm development and other agricultural development in those areas. General adoption of better agricultural practices. We have many new people coming in the business. Sometimes they are not even good agriculturists, so we need to promote these BAP practices in the sector. Also, the country, every day we are having more or higher environmental standards that we need to comply with. We also need to have a clear relationship between the cost and benefits of the RSPO certification. Many smallholders, many mid-sized producers, they still wonder if there is a benefit to start this certification. Also, the development of traceability system for sustainable palm oil. We feel that we need to have that also in the country. To increase productivity and crop mechanization, since labor cost is a major issue in our plantation industry. The creation of clusters and economies of scale. Many scattered plantations, we need to work into grouping those plantations and to reduce costs. Clarity in land property rights and tenure, that also is an issue in some areas of the country. Another thing that we have seen is that many Latin American realities are not very well discussed and debated here in the RSPO. We understand that Latin America is still a small portion of the oil palm business or the oil palm industry in the world, but we need to bring that more into the debate here. Language barrier. Many producers, they don't come here because they only speak Spanish. English is not broadly speaking in our countries, and we feel that's a barrier. And in some things, we still feel that RSPO is still not focusing very well on the Latin American realities, and we don't have appropriate people looking at that. And even now for the certification, we've been finding that in many ways was difficult to find ready available some of the support to be certified. And bringing them from other parts of the world is expensive, and sometimes they are not focused on the reality we're facing in Latin America. That's all I have to share with you, and thank you very much.